and the Casey Foundation, wherein we call the mayors of America together, and 56 have responded and are represented here today to make sure that we share best practices with each other and call the nation to purpose and communion on the issue of reducing violence across America and creating hope and opportunity. A murder reduction, in our opinion, and violence reduction should be a national priority, and it should not only involve the federal government, but state and local governments, and families, and churches, and communities, and coaches, and individuals. It is something that we want to call the nation to purpose on. In New Orleans, you will think that this sounds familiar. Our name for this is NOLA for Life. And every one of these mayors and other individuals surrounding me has an identical program like that in their cities, where we have all shared best practices, and we have come together to learn from each other, to show each other our progress, to talk about other things that we can do together. And I am very thankful that they have all come to be with us today, so that we can learn from them and they can learn from us, so that we can, in the United States of America, create a country of peace. Because as I've said many, many times, if you're not safe, you can't be at peace, and if you're not at peace, you can't be free. And every American has the right to be free and to have great opportunities so that they can become their best selves. And I have been joined in this mission by all of these other mayors, but particularly being led by Mayor Michael Nutter from Philadelphia, who began this effort. I was happy to join him at that time, and I'm thrilled that he has helped lead this effort today. Mayor Nutter, thank you for helping start Cities United, and thank you for your leadership. Please help me welcome Mayor Michael Nutter.
Mayor Landrieu, it is a pleasure and honor, certainly always, to be in New Orleans, but even more importantly, to have the opportunity to continue this partnership, this relationship, and our co-leadership in this work, and certainly, again, great partnership with the National League of Cities and the various members of that great organization, and certainly the leadership and the passion that's exhibited every day by Dr. William Bell and Casey Family Programs and all of their staff. I'm also pleased to be joined by these young people who we do this work for, most importantly. And whether it's Mary Pat or Brandon or Jamira or so many others, things that we're talking about, and more importantly, the things that we're trying to do, these are not theoretical issues for them. They experience or have experienced the realities of street life in so many different ways. Their families have been affected by what goes on out in the streets. And so these are not, this is not about case studies, as much as we love certainly talk about data, and we talk about policies, and we talk about programs. We can never forget the purpose of our work is people. We were elected to represent people. We were elected to do the people's business. And so out of Philadelphia, and the thought here, this idea may be familiar to many in this room from my city, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can't experience them if you're not experiencing the essence of life, if you're not here for that experience. If you can't see a vision of a future at 15 that you would actually be 25 years old. And the unfortunate reality for so many of our young people, of all ages, of all races, whether male or female, you know, in fact, you will make different decisions based on whether or not you think there is a future for you. If you are literally living for today, unfortunately, you will make decisions about today. If you can see yourself at 25, if you can see yourself at 40, if you can see yourself in golden years, you will make a different set of decisions, and your priorities will be different as well. It is our responsibility to make sure that people can see a future for themselves. And so Cities United is really what it's about. It's a group of cities that are united in this effort. It is mayors, it is council members, it is others, and partnered with the foundation community. We can't do this work by ourselves on the ground. It is impossible. And so foundations of the corporate community, the nonprofit sector, and breaking down silos within our own organizations. This is not about protecting turf within the government. It's about protecting our citizens and making sure that they are safe each and every day. And so this is a very, very proud moment for me. As I said at a previous meeting, we know a little bit about organizing meetings and activities coming out of Philadelphia, the birthplace of freedom, liberty, and democracy, where a group of folks put themselves on the line, risked it all to make sure that people could be free. And we continue to enjoy that experiment 236 years later, called the United States of America. But every day, one of these mayors on this stage gets that phone call that we all dread. 16-year-old black male shot 3 times in the head, 2 in the chest. No one in custody. No weapon recovered. No information. In Philadelphia, 75% of the victims of homicide are black men. It is the #1 cause of death for young people in our city. And unfortunately, in the top 25 cities in the United States of America, anywhere from 40 to 80% of homicide victims are black men. Completely disproportionate to their percentage of the population in those cities. This is an epidemic. It is a crisis. It is a public health crisis, as my good friend Mayor Landrieu has talked about on many occasions. And when we have a public health crisis, we act. We act immediately. Agencies of our governments, local, state, and federal, swing into action. We put resources to bear. We try to figure out what is the problem. Well, we know in many instances what the problem is. Our job is to figure out the solutions and then implement them. We know it's investing in education. We know it's about jobs. But it's also, and I'll close with this, it's about changing a mindset and a culture. The culture of the street. There cannot be 2 or 3 different justice systems in this country, where one group of folks call 911 and give up the information, and another group of folks say, I'll take care of that myself. And it's all the back and the forth. We know on Monday somebody shoots somebody, and on Wednesday that same person can be a victim themselves. It's all the same people. And almost all of these victims, whether shooting or of homicides, almost all of them know each other. I didn't say they were friends with each other, but they know each other. And what is causing this kind of activity in our country is a national crisis. It deserves a national response. And we expect from the grassroots up that Cities United will be that voice on the ground and partner with our state and federal partners and the corporate community and the philanthropic community. This is actually a problem and a challenge that we can solve. And we're up to it because we're Americans. Thank you. With that, let me have the pleasure and the opportunity to ask Cliff Johnson from the NLC to give his remarks.
Thank you, Mayor Nutter, and thank you, Mayor Landrieu. The National League of Cities is proud and honored to be a partner in this terribly important effort and to be the staffing hub and the fiscal agent for the initiative. We have all at the National League of Cities been inspired by the courageous leadership of Mayors Nutter and Landrieu. This is a tough, tough issue to take on. They lift us up and inspire us every day to work with greater vigor to tackle this national challenge and problem. Through the National League of Cities Institute for Youth Education and Families, we have provided technical assistance and peer learning opportunities to hundreds of mayors and other city leaders around the country. In every area in which we've worked, from education to early childhood to disconnected youth to family economic success, we see the factors, the challenges that face young black men and boys. They underline every one of these national challenges and problems and agendas. And in that context, we need to all come together as Americans to figure out how to eliminate the scourge of violence-related deaths among young black men and boys at the earliest moment. We also understand that we cannot keep all of our young men and boys alive simply by relying on law enforcement efforts. We need comprehensive responses. We need to open the doors of opportunity for our young men of color across this country to make sure they have access to the education that supports the job training, the other opportunities to be fully participating in our American society and our American dream. The National League of Cities is deeply committed to this ongoing cause, to the work of Cities United, and we are committed to bringing the full range of our knowledge, our experience, and our resources to bear in in working to ensure its success. We are deeply indebted to the partner organizations we're working with, in particular Dr. Bell and his staff at Casey Family Programs, without whom their knowledge and expertise, none of this would be possible. We're also very grateful to Cities United's funding partners, and particularly to the support that Open Society Foundations has provided to the National League of Cities to make our work possible. Today is, in many ways, the culmination of 2 years of groundwork, of hard planning and capacity building work, but more importantly today is a crucial beginning, a beginning of a challenge to organize and mobilize mayors all around the country to tackle the challenge and to move us forward. And in that context, the National League of Cities will be working to encourage more mayors to join Cities United and to provide the guidance and the technical assistance that current Cities United mayors need to make progress in their own communities. Let me turn to Dr. William Bell from Casey Family Programs.
Thank you, Cliff, and thank you to all the mayors who have joined us here. And thank you to the more than 56 mayors that have joined Cities United since we started this 2 years ago. Casey Family Programs is pleased to be a part of this effort, and the title of this conversation over these 2 days is Why We Can't Wait. And we can't wait because it's time for America to stand up, united, and say that every one of our children matters. It's time for America to stand up and accept its role and responsibility in building communities of hope for all of our children. We know where these children live. We know in every city in this country the streets that they live on. We know the schools that they go to. We know the places where they will interact. We know where more than likely they will get shot. And we believe in Casey Family Programs that the CEOs of our cities are the best leaders to lead this way, and that all the rest of us need to align our resources and our full support behind these CEOs so that they can do the job that they've been elected to do. We believe that this is a job for the federal government, this is a job for state government, this is a job for community leaders, this is a job for businesses, this is a job for every one of us, including philanthropy. And philanthropy cannot decide what needs to happen. We need to work with the solutions that these mayors know how to implement. And so Casey Family Programs is pleased to be here because we can't wait. And let me tell you why we can't wait. On average, every 24 hours in America, we lose 13 young people under the age of 25 to homicide. We lose 12 young people under the age of 25 to suicide. And we lose 4 young people, babies, most of them before they reach their 5th birthday, to child abuse and neglect. That's a total of 29 young people under the age of 25 on average every 24 hours in America. When you roll that up every 15 days, that's 435 young people in America under the age of 25. That's enough to fill the U.S. House of Representatives 2 times over every single month. We can do this, and that's what Cities United is about. We are united to make sure that every child in America grows up in a community of hope, and Casey Family Programs is pleased to align our support behind the mayors and the CEOs of our best cities in the world. Thank you.